What's up, my loves? It's your girl Diamond. I'm back with an all new episode of Love and Hip Hop Family Reunion. Let's get into it. It's the aftermath of the argument between Amina and Peter, because it was Pride event. We were talking about Jonathan and his life story and all the information that Amina got. She definitely felt triggered and wanted to call out Peter because he wouldn't allow his son to wear a ladybug costume. Now, of course, everybody has said left and right that Amina was wrong for what she said, right? And we're in the room with Peter, Yo-Yo, Booby, and Rich. Erica pops up and wants to know if everything's okay. He said, listen, I'm in the cancer culture right now. I am a high school dropout, a felon. Right now, anything can be used against me based off of what Amina just tried to accuse me of, all right? And try to make me seem like I'm against this community, and I'm not, And Erica speaks up for Amina that Amina is not really she's not vocal. She doesn't speak up for herself that often, and she felt like this was the right time or the time for her to speak up, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? But they already had an argument before then because she asked, what did the kids want to be for Halloween? And he said he's old school. My son came up to me with a girl's costume, and I said no. That was in the day. And when he said he's from the old school generation, I completely understand where he's coming from, because I know in every generation, from my generation to my mother's to my grandmother's, I know that there have been a lot of things that were already out, just never fully talked about. So with him being in that old school mentality, it's not him expressing or showcasing any type of homophobia. Is not real. It's not really doing that. It's just not trying to have his son be in that society right now. He's small. He doesn't understand what it could mean. So I'm just gonna keep protecting and steer my kids in the right direction until they come up to an age where they can understand, and then want to tell me what their life is gonna be, till they understand who they want to become. Other than that, I'm not mad for what he said, because that's the truth. It's not me trying to suppress or hide my son's true feelings, but at the same time, this is for a Halloween costume, and I don't want my boy wearing a girl costume. That's not gonna work. So it go back to what he said the last time. I was raised by a woman who was a lesbian, and my daughter is named after her. So Erica Stills caping for Amina said, I understand what you mean, but you guys need to have a conversation, He said, all right, we can have a conversation, but I stand on what I stand, okay? So Rich goes on to Amina's room and have a conversation. She goes on about how it's pride. We're supposed to be expressing ourselves. We're different. And I thought this was the time for me to speak up. Of course, Rich said, I have no problem with you speaking up. You can. But at the same point in time, your delivery said something different. Your delivery made it seem as if you're trying to say Peter is anti-gay or homophobic. That's how it looked, And she said, Peter has always told her to hold her tongue when it comes to how he parented his kids. Because she wants to give her opinions and her 2 cents, but I think Peter wanted her to stay in her lane. Like, okay, what I have with the other moms is different than what we treat our daughters, so you need to go ahead and just be respectful of that, And like I said, she's going off of what she learned about Jonathan, and she felt like this was another time for me to speak up, and she just going off about how the moment that I try to speak up, the moment that I feel like I need to say something, everybody's telling me that I'm wrong. Well, Amina, I understand the point you were trying to make, but the way you did it, you wanted to cause an argument. You wanted to cause a headline. Because like Rich said, a headline, a comment, a statement could easily be canceled. This is a cancel culture generation right now. And there could have been an easier way, a more delicate way for you to talk about it. Not in front of everybody, the way that you did it. A sidebar conversation to say, okay, is there anything? Okay, so you're talking about being there for Jonathan. Is it the same as you not telling your son he could be a ladybug for Halloween? It could be an easier way for her to do it, but she wanted to embarrass him. She did. So obviously the rest of the night still goes on. It's still Pride, and we're having a drag show, right? But we're having a drag show, and everybody's arriving. We see some love between Cisco and Sin because they had that conversation. Bobby asked Jonathan to co-host the event that he has because it still wants to be fun, still wants to be enjoyable. And of course, Zale, Jonathan, and Bobby go on the stage and said, listen, look at us. We are all different. We all express ourselves differently. We're a part of the same community, and we just need to be standing up for one another, you know? So Peter apologizes to Jonathan about what happened. And he said, I should not have blown up like that. I should have stuck around and had a more appropriate conversation. But Jonathan knows who Peter is. He does not think that Peter is no way, shape, and form anti-gay or homophobic. So they have a drag show. I want to go to a drag show. They look so much fun. And it looks like it was a good time. Even Rich, he said, this is not my cup of tea, but I'm showing support, and I actually had a good time. I love that. So Bobby performs his song, Judgment Day. It's just pretty much talking about how he's been told to not be this, not talk like this, not walk like this. And I felt like, fuck it. This is me. I love me. And I'm going to keep on being me. And it was a really good song. I love the beat. Zale is happy that Jonathan, Bobby, and him can all have a full understanding of one another and be respectful. And just be in that understanding place. Jonathan agrees. You know, he's happy that he has a full understanding of Zale and him, how they both went through their lives differently, and they're all part of the same community. So, Safari and Erica. So, Erica's giving her back to Safari, pretty much saying, fuck you. He's telling her, can you not turn your back on me? I will never do that to you. She said, oh, you wouldn't have? Go send that bitch flowers then. She's still mad, and she doesn't want to deal with this. She says, I'm done with the puppy dog lies. I'm done with the relationship. I'm sick of hearing about it, blah, blah, blah. And of course, Safari's not in the mood to deal with it because he said, I hate that we're in a situation where we cannot talk to one another. We cannot communicate. So he gets up, and it was a quick scene between him and Shekinah because Shekinah is telling him that Erica's in my room crying every night. What do you want me to tell her? What do you want me to do? Well, she says, I don't care. Okay, well, do you want to save your marriage? He says, I do. All right. So he walks off just to get his, mind right, just to be on the calm. And Cisco tries to walk up to Safari to have another conversation. And Shekinah said, please don't talk to this man. He's been talked enough. Please don't talk to him. Cisco said, I don't give a fuck. But he just pretty much gives off a time to have a conversation with Safari. Do you have any time tomorrow or at 1 o'clock on the beach so we can squash this? All right, cool. Yeah, because Cisco, oh my God, Cisco does not care of anyone. He doesn't care what the situation looks like, what it could. He does not read the room good at all. So he just pretty much said, if I'm in a room with somebody who has an issue with me or I have an issue with them, I'm not going to sit here and be fake and have everything all hunky-dory when I got an issue that I want to be addressed. That's totally fine, Cisco, but a time and a place. Okay, nobody's asking you to be fake. Just come up with a right time and place. So, Amina's gonna have the conversation with Peter because she doesn't want him to be mad at her anymore. And at the same point in time, Peter said, I understand what you were trying to do, but the way you did it was malicious. Amina, it was malicious? Really? Because at the same point in time, while Peter said what he said, Amina still wanted to yell, yell, yell. And she just goes back to the times where he was the one that been disrespectful. He was the one that did all the embarrassing things to her. So the fact that he's telling her that she was malicious and she wasn't being right in what she did, she cannot take it, right? So he says, listen, this is when he was talking to Sin, right? Because Sin was telling him that I'm not going to allow. No, I take that back. I'm sorry. I'm not there yet. So Peter said, I'm not going to allow my son to wear a girl costume, period. You know what I'm saying? That's me and Tara's son. And it means I'm not going to speak about your parenting anymore. I'm not. But I can't have opinion. He said you can't have opinion, but the way you did it was pretty much trying to embarrass me. That's what you were trying to do. And this is when this is when Amina gets loud, screaming like a banshee, nails on a chalkboard, screeching, screeching, screeching. And of course, she says the same thing. Why is it every time I'm trying to express my opinion, I'm getting told to be quiet? I never get a chance to speak up for myself. And now when I do it, I'm wrong. And then, of course, when it's about my kid, then I'll say something, right? When it's not mine, I'm wrong. But Tara comes in and said, first of all, this is about my son. You're speaking about my son, so calm down. Let's have a conversation. And Amina screaming, screaming, screaming. And listen, Tara doesn't care that Amina has an opinion, but when you speak on my son, then I gotta say something, you know? And everybody comes in, they hear the conversation, they trying to separate Tyra and Amina. And Bobby reflects back to the time where he was told by his pastor if he walked like this, talked like this, held his hand like this, he was going to rot in hell. And he wore a ladybug costume for Halloween. But at the same point in time, different stories. Different stories, different paths. This boy is 4 years old. He is not going to grow up wanting to be this or wanting to be that. He's 4. He doesn't know anything like that yet. So just don't project on what you went through that's going to happen to this boy. It's not. Everybody has different walks in life, different paths in life, different situations. To me, this is a very simple situation that a boy picked up a girl costume. The daddy said no. End of story. I cannot, what's the word I'm trying to find? I have to find respect in what Peter did as a parent, because at any time, at any given day, this is exactly what any parent that I know would have done, and it wouldn't have meant this. It wouldn't have. And I don't feel like this meant a LGBTQ conversation. This was, he picked up a wrong costume. I said no. Moving on. So everybody's still trying to separate them. And Tara and Peter are telling her, I understand what you're saying, but we are the parents. This is our son. You don't have to, if we're not having an issue, you shouldn't have an issue. She keeps talking over them. She keep on screaming and screaming. I'm not going to talk about y'all parenting anymore. I'm not. When it comes to my child, I'm going to speak up. Okay, that's totally fine, Amina, but calm down. You're screaming. Bring it down. Just stop screaming, okay? It goes back and forth. Amina gets louder and louder. They got to separate them. And Peter was done. He said every time Amina gets to that high octave, it's like screeching. Just calm down. And she's literally getting irate to everybody. Erica's trying to calm her down. She says, everybody's telling me to fucking calm down because I'm the nice one. Oh my God. Shut up. I was literally like, Amina, is this about the kid? Excuse me. Or is this about how Peter made you feel? Because she kept going back to the time when they lived together. He was controlling, he was manipulative, and the first time she was able to say something, she was wrong. That's understandable that you found your voice, Amina, but the way that you used it was pretty much, you wanted a moment. You wanted to have an opportunity to make Peter look like the bad guy. Shekinah said, I thought I was the aggravating cousin at the family reunion. Now it's Amina. I'm watching you. Tyra is telling Amina, we can have a conversation if you just calm down. Calm down. Screaming. I don't need anybody's fucking opinion about my son. This is my son, okay? Amina is screaming. And I am so glad that I don't have a kid with Peter because it will be a nightmare. Oh my God. Girl, stop. Do you have some issues? Like, do you have some lingering resolve? Do you have some unresolved issues with Peter? That's what we know you do, but what is it about this point? That's what I want to know. So Sin talks to Peter and wants to know, is there something deeper than this? Because you know there are male bugs, right? He says, yes, I know that, but my son brought me a girl's costume. I'm not going to have my son I'm going to be okay with my son wearing a girl's costume. No. If he found a different ladybug costume in his section, yes. But he brought up a girl's costume. It didn't even matter if it was pink. It was a girl's costume. Sorry. He's at the end of the day, he said, listen, you know how many parents will not be supportive of this? I am. I will be. If my son or my daughter grows up to who they want to be and they tell me who they want to be, I'm going to be supportive. There are not a lot of parents who would. I'm one of them. I'm not going to try to push my kids down for what they want to be. I'm not going to suppress. No, I'm not going to do that. So he tells Bobby, thank you for inviting me. I'm going to leave. And then it calmed down. It calmed down between Tyra and Amina. She said, listen. In the day, we are mothers. We have been through a lot with this fool, okay? We need to protect each other's kids. That's what we need to do. We can have difference of opinions. And that's all we need to be understood, okay? I love you. We're good. We don't have to go back to that. Okay? And that's all Tara wanted to say. I understand you have an opinion, but we're all parent our kids differently. We're all mothers. We parent differently. We teach differently. And it needs to be a form of respect to one another. That's it, right? It's the next morning. Brooke and Marcus are feeling optimistic, but they've been on the trip for 7 days. It's been tiring. It's been exhausting. They did a lot. They did a video chat with their daughter, Summer. She's so beautiful. And Hi, mommy. What about daddy? Hi, mommy. And then that's when Marcus said, I'm ready to go home now. I didn't see my baby. I'm ready to go home. He said, no, Mr. Black, we're not done yet. What else needs to be done? Moving on. Booby and Sin have a conversation on the beach about where can they move forward in their relationship. Because they have great conversations. They have a lot in common. Sin is scared because, of course, she has a son and she doesn't want to play games when it comes to her child. Booby is the same exact way, but he's not in no rush. So right now, they're just trying to figure out where can they move forward from this situation. Moving on. So we're back at it with Safari and Cisco. They're having a conversation. Safari says, I came in on this trip with one issue, now I have two. We're talking about the party, that's fine. You said how you felt, but then I'm hearing from Peter that you're saying I'm whack. You're saying they shouldn't hang out with me. And I want to know what's that about, you know? And again, Safari with his glasses, he's like, what the fuck is this boy doing here? Like, I'm sitting here listening to this man, and right now his energy is all the way off, right? So, but at the end of it, pretty much like Cisco was pretty much gaslighting the fuck out of Safari, in my opinion, because we're still talking about this damn birthday party. Is Deb upset? Is she mad? Did she complain to you? And you're mad about Safari talking to Peter about how whack you are? You are whack, Cisco. You're a cornball. You are. And this is when Safari said again, yo, I'm about to slap the shit out of you, bro, because you're not going to keep on acting like you can check me. You can't check me. So they're about to go to blows. It cuts so quick. Because I saw Safari lean to do something, but I saw their hands touch like this. But I think Cisco, try to swing. And then that's when the security guards ran and separate them, right? And this is when Cisco said, you try to slap me? You tough? Since when? Like all that and then some. And then it's the same that Safari said. Stop trying to check me. Stop trying to check me, okay? I'm not doing this with you. You a bitch. As we kept on telling him. You a bitch. You a cornball. You whack. And Shekinah is nosy. Nosy saying, I'm minding my business. Then I'm hearing Mr. Clean and Sticks out here trying to fight to prove a point. Right now, I just want to see who's going to get their ass kicked, okay? And Cisco has another reason to be upset with Safari because Safari can't have a reason to have the balls to want to tell Cisco you crazy or to check him, as if Cisco has not been on that same exact energy the entire time, trying to check everybody else about how they talk to him. Okay, Cisco. So Peter goes into Safari's room. Stevie J talks to Cisco. Peter and Steve sorry. So Safari starts off with, he's trying to check me about what I said with you and what I did with the party. Just issues that I got no time for, all right? And then he lunged at me. Peter said, no, he didn't. Yes, he did. He threw a punch. He's like, wow, I cannot believe he did that. Stevie tells Cisco, the boy got a lot on his mind. He got a lot on his plate. The anger was misplaced. It had nothing to do with you. Cisco's often saying, I'm not the one to play with. I will fold his ass. And yeah, he'll fold his ass, but Stevie J trying to tell him to calm down. Let's be talking about growth. Peter said, listen, he has his own issues. He internalized them. He does not communicate with them well, and he tends to take it out on other people. And he said he's not a bad guy. He did not mean it. And he really wants to be your friend. He doesn't know how. Safari is like, I don't even know why. I don't even know why I should even entertain this fool. You say he's a good person. You say he wants to be my friend. I don't know how I would approach wanting someone to be my friend like this. He means no malice. Fine. And then of course, Peter said he wants what you have. He wants the support. He wants the love. And Stevie J talks to Cisco about Safari wears his heart on his sleeve. But Cisco says he's not the only one that's going through situations. He is hooping and howling about getting divorced. I've been divorced. I haven't seen my kids in 6 months. Well, that's on you, Cisco. Because it's been, 8 episodes? We only heard you say you haven't seen your kids in 6 months one time. And now this time you're talking about you have been divorced and you haven't seen your kids in 6 months. What happened to you? Because you've been talking about the issue with sin, the issue with the party, the issue with this. You have been using everything else but to talk about your actual issue. Okay. And then he doesn't want to give a pass to someone who doesn't know what someone's going through. and he feels broken. He feels empty. Okay, well, you should have came from the beginning, Cisco. You making an issue about stupid things instead of talking about your actual problems. So they're trying to have another conversation, but Peter and Rich are going to be the mediators. Amina apologized to Peter again. And Peter said, I take it back to how you cannot have an opinion or any type of say so about my kids. You do. Your family, okay? And we need to be respectful. You're the best mother in the world. She said, I had too many mimosas and we were on the subject of something that was very sensitive, and I just decided to bring it up. He said, all right, cool. I'm always on edge because I'm mad that it's a cancel culture right now, and I don't want nothing to be used against me because I am a part, I have friends that are in the LGBTQ community. You know, the mother that raised me is named after our daughter. You know that. And he said him and Amina have always had a good way of talking out their issues, their problems, and all they needed was a break, just a calm down session. And they're back to being family. So, the men come around to squash the Cisco and Safari situation. Safari said, I don't want no issues with nobody. I'm already going through something. I did not mean it. I apologize. Yeah, because I've been attacked throughout this entire situation. So my bad, okay? Cisco said, you're not the only one that's in the public eye, and you're not the only one that's going through things. I did not try to come at you as some aggressive type shit. I came at you as a friend, and I see what you mean. So I heard Safari apologize. I didn't hear Cisco apologize. Okay. And I didn't like that. I felt like, what does Safari have to apologize to you for? I mean, some people, yeah, it could have been misplaced anger, but at the same point in time, he was going through issues with Erica, but Cisco kept bringing up old issues. So he had a 2-and-2 part to be irritated by Cisco. And Stevie J, you know, there's a lot of growing up to do. As men, we need to do more than just buy their affection, because Stevie J said he bought furs, minks, jewelry, and he never said the most important words, I'm sorry. And Safari recognized the fact that in this type of situation, both parties need to apologize, but it is what it is. I got bigger things to worry about. It's squashed. It's fine. So everybody's in the pool, and Paris comes along, Zell's best friend. Her weight loss is amazing. She looks great. I didn't like her blonde wig in the scene, and I did not like her confessional look. It didn't look right. It didn't flatter her face. She kept looking up. I didn't like that. Because Zell is having a fashion event for his time, and it's gonna be cool. Everybody say, hey, how you doing? And of course everybody was like, oh my gosh, looks amazing, that weight loss, right? Rich said, I have no idea who that is, and that had me cracking up laughing. So it's a pool party. That's what Stevie J is known for, having pool parties and music. And you know, if everybody gets a few liquor in their system, they can bust a rhyme. So Peter and Safari are in the pool. They're rapping. As Safari's rapping, Erica's rolling her eyes, making faces. Peter said, you did that. You did that. You smashed that. No, he didn't. Get off the mic. No, he didn't. He's whack. Boo. Tomato, tomato. Boo, boo. Like on TikTok. And Safari is like, listen, I know Erica's tipsy. I'm not about to fool with her, right? So Erica got the mic, and I think that Amina was complaining about how Safari doesn't care or something, and Peter was coming up with a way to have a rebuttal. So he came up with a chant that everybody was singing around the pool. You're still married. You're still married. Everybody singing it left and right. That made Erica get upset, right? And she said, listen, I'm drunk right now. I'm dying inside. I hate everybody's talking about my situation. And she made up a little quick rhyme that says, yeah, don't remind me that I'm married, but this nigga out here buying drinks for women who are fucking scary. I'm like, oh, somebody's mad. So she goes on to the mic, and then everybody's still giving up this. Everybody's saying the same chant. You're still married. You're still married. Did you sign them papers? Did you sign them papers? And then she looked at Safari. Safari, you just lost your whole fucking family. I hope it was worth it. Microphone drop. I was like, Erica. That was the end of the episode. I was like, Erica, why are you so mad? Why are you so mad? Like, I get it. I really get it. But to me, Safari wasn't even trying to be on that level with you. He literally was trying to have a good time being in the pool. He wasn't trying to fool with you because you're drunk. You said you was drunk, and you know you can take it there. He's not trying to be there with you, and you still mad about everybody saying you're still married, because that's the point. You're still married. Did you sign them papers after, you know, what happened about the girl with the flowers? Did you call your lawyer and say, sign the papers, expedite them right now? Did you do anything of that? No. And to me, I'm just kind of like, what point can I feel sorry for Erica? What point can I get mad at Safari? Because I feel like, Erica, you was wanting you wanted an attention, you wanted a moment, you wanted something else to be mad about, and it's the same shit. But yeah, you want everybody else to stop saying it. This entire situation, this entire trip has been mostly about Erica and Safari. The first episode, the middle of the episode, all them fights and shit, it's been centered around Erica and Safari. And right now she's tired. She's tired now. All right, fine. But that's it, you guys. That's all I have. Please stay tuned for my next video, and I'm gonna see you guys later. Bye.